Welcome to another episode of Liberty Dad Podcast LP Happenings. Sunday nights is my series to discuss what is happening in the Libertarian Party. The series is dedicated to discussing what state and local affiliates are up to. The goal is to spread the word about the hard work that's happening in the party and give other affiliates some ideas. We can't think of everything, right? I am typically joined by my co host, Susan Hogarth. Unfortunately, regular life matters have her away tonight. But the show must go on, and I'll be reporting tonight on LP happenings all by myself. So let's get to it. All right. So, what we're going to be doing tonight is talking about what's going on in the party. Now, last week, we noted that we were a little bit on the heavy side when it came to like the eastern side of the United States. So I'm going to try to gravitate out a little bit that way. But first, I do want to kind of catch up. And what we're going to try to do on this show is catch things kind of early. That way, people can get sufficient notice about them. But then also sometimes repeat them because maybe you didn't see last week's show, but you're able to tune in tonight. Or maybe just a good reminder for different events. So coming up, so starting to goodness, a little tongue tied there. So starting with a recap, let's look at two items that we've talked about previously. The first one comes out of Cape Fear, North Carolina. This is on October 7th. This is the Cape Fear. Where'd you go here? Lost my browser window. So this is the Cape Fear Libertarian Party Freedom Fire Fest. So this is occurring on October 7th, this year, of course, at noon at the 19 restaurant in Hampstead, North Carolina. So this is basically an event where you can come out, and I think, is this the one? Yes, here we are. So they have a bunch of speakers coming out. It looks like they're going to have some local candidates. So George Cormos and Chelsea Kurtz, I believe. And then they're going to have a gubernatorial candidate, Shannon Bray. And then apparently another one, Mike Ross. So it looks like we've got a primary coming our way out there in North Carolina. That is actually exciting. I never want to see anybody go unchallenged. I think that's just terrible. We should always have at least two people for every position, or at least aim for it, right? That's the goal. We won't always get it, but we can always aim for it. So then you're going to have, let's see, looks like they got two presidential candidates. They got Mike Tremont and Jacob Hornberger. So again, this is the Freedom Fire Fest, which is happening again at the in Cape Fear, hosted by the Cape Fear Libertarian Party, and this is going to be in Hampstead, North Carolina. So if you're in the area on October 7th, this coming up weekend, make sure to give it a check out or check it out. Next up in our recap of things, let's see, we got here from Indiana. We've got the Libertarian Party of Floyd County. They will be hosting a booth at a local Harvest Homecoming. It doesn't look like there's a whole lot of information necessarily here, but they've apparently got some candidates. Stop by and say hello to our candidates. I love hearing about other affiliates hosting candidates, whether those candidates are local, state, or even at the federal level. So it's always good to remind people that, yes, the Libertarian Party is alive and well. They're active. They have candidates. So make sure if you can, you support them. So then we move on to some new stuff that I have not spoken about before. So this one comes out of Texas. So the Montgomery County Woodlands Pride Festival. So it looks like I'm assuming this is going to be Montgomery County affiliate. This is actually from the LP Texas, their state website. So I don't know which affiliates necessarily, sometimes the affiliates may not be affiliated. It's one from the next county over or whatnot, but they're going to be hosting their Pride Festival on Saturday, October 21st. And it looks like the Libertarian Party will be there. Let's see here. Yes. Join LP MOCO. So LP MOCO. I guess that's how they say it. They're going to be at the Pride Festival at Town Green Park. So if you're available, Montgomery County Libertarian Party is going to be at the Woodlands Pride Festival. Now, let me see. Do I want to jump to that? Yeah, let me jump to this one. So we're going to jump a little bit out of order here. So turns out that, hey, look, I know that guy. You guys recognize that guy. And then we've got Marcus, who was our former vice chair. And then in the back there, we have Rachel, who is our region rep here in Florida for 5 counties. And she is now, I believe, the vice chair for Clay County. She used to be over here in Duval and was an officer here and did a lot of great work. Now she's moved over to another county and doing work there. This was us actually last year going to the River City Pride Festival. And I think we've got a couple more pictures. So there's our tent right there that we had. So we got all set up. We've got the Libertarian Party of Florida tent, so that people can see us from far away. I recommend you guys get one if you don't have one. Let's see. There's another picture of Rachel and I looking all happy and excited. I think there's one more. Yeah. Okay. So you always got to include a serious face. So this is me being very, very serious. But we are at the River City Pride Festival. And I point this out because these pictures were from last year. However, our River City Pride Festival is again coming up, and that's going to be on October 7th in the Riverside Park area. I do not happen to have an official event set up for our county. Shame on me, I guess, but we will be there. I will be there. Rachel will be there, and I'm going to figure out later at our upcoming meeting who else will be attending. So we've got that going on. Here's something that's interesting. This is kind of an event, but kind of not. So I got wind of this from Hector Roos, who is down in Miami. He is part of the Libertarian Party of Florida, and he pointed out that let's see, this group is called what are they called? Who are they called again? They're called Florida Can. So FL Can. And what they are doing is they're arguing at the federal courthouse here in Jacksonville on October 5th to fight for the right for people to openly utilize marijuana, like we have medical marijuana here in Florida, but also maintain their gun ownership. So let's go ahead to their website and we'll kind of explain what's going on here. So this is the Florida Cannabis website, Florida Can. And so this question, can I have a medical marijuana card? Because that's how you acquire medical marijuana here in Florida and buy a gun. Now, they're saying in Florida, you should have the right to a firearm and medical marijuana and a medical marijuana card, but you don't. So here's how it works. In order to buy a gun from a licensed dealer, you must first fill out ATF form 4473. Question 21 has 11 parts. It asks about mental health, previous arrest, criminal conduct, so on and so forth. Then it gets down to question 21. Are you an unlawful user of addicted to marijuana or any depressant stimulant, narcotic, or any other controlled substance? And so then it says the use or possession of marijuana remains unlawful under federal law, regardless of whether it has been legalized or decriminalized for medicinal or recreational purposes in the state where you reside. So it doesn't matter whether you're unlawful or not. And then later on the form, it says, I understand that a person who answers yes to any of the questions, 21B through 21K, is prohibited from receiving a firearm. So Florida Cannabis, they will be presenting their oral arguments at the federal courthouse here in Jacksonville to fight for your right, Floridians, right, for your right to have a medical marijuana card and purchase a firearm legally, because you should be able to. Absolutely. So I just wanted to point that out. Keith, thanks for joining the show. Let's see what you got to, what do you, I got to zoom in on that because I'm getting a little old. Yes, totally agree. As long as you have to ask permission, we're not there yet. And that is correct. You should not even have to ask permission. That just shouldn't even matter, but it does. And we want to thank Florida Can for going out and making these arguments. So support them if you can. All right, moving on to the next event here. Let's see, I went out of order a little bit, but that's okay. We got ah coming from Nebraska. Look at Nebraska here. All right. So Nebraska is having a Libertarian Party candidate fair. Now, I don't know much about this, but it's being hosted by the Sarpy County Libertarian Party. And that is on October 25th from 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. So it seems like it's going to be a pretty big deal because it's all day long. And this is going to be at Legion Post 216 in Gretna, Nebraska. So if you're out in that area, please attend. Let's see if they have any other information here. Let's see here. So Sarpy County Libertarian Party, they're going to have that county, the candidate fair, and at the Gretna American Legion Post 216, you're going to meet libertarian or liberty-minded candidates, campaign managers, and grassroots organizations who are running for a variety of offices. So this election cycle, they're putting an emphasis on fielding candidates for Gretna mayor and city council, Ward 1 and 2. So it sounds like they've got at least 3 candidates running, maybe more. So that's exciting. So make sure that you support the Sarpy County Libertarian Party candidate fair that's coming up. And again, that is going to be on October 25th, and that is at the Legion Post in Gretna, Nebraska. So good job, folks out there, for hosting this. And I believe that actually wraps up the particular events that I was able to find, but show's not over just yet. I got a few more things that I want to talk about. So let me share this. This comes from the Libertarian Party of Nebraska. Let me see. Let's make this a little bit bigger so that we can see it. All right. So I'm going to scroll up and down really quickly. We're not going to read it all. There's a bit of text on there. That's fine. But what I wanted to point out is that this appears to be a flyer that the Libertarian Party of Nebraska put together for, I think it's for the Libertarian Party of Nebraska state level. So what they've done is they put out a flyer and they have recurring meetings. So I assume this is their monthly meeting where they do business. So check this out. It says, come together and defend liberty, live free in D3. I don't really know what D3 is. I assume that's maybe some particular area in Nebraska. If anybody happens to be watching this or sees it, please throw it in the comment section and let me know what D3 is specifically. But what they do is they've got this flyer that they can pass out on a regular basis. And I want to encourage other affiliates to put together flyers that are like this. And it's not too terribly difficult. You can get a free Canva account, or I'm sure that there's somebody that, that can do some sort of graphic design. If you have Microsoft Word, that'll do. Get something together, throw a few graphics in, and put that out, because when you're on social media, one of the things that helps out is having graphics. And so when we're doing events here in Duval, we really do try to put together graphics for all of these events. If there's notable people that are coming, maybe we've got some speakers, we throw a picture of the speaker up on it and we put all the pertinent details. But this makes it really nice for people to share. You can just simply throw out a picture on your social media. Other people can like it, they can repost it. And so it helps it travel, and it makes it very, very nice. And I think that we should do this more often. So I just want to say kudos to the Libertarian Party of Nebraska for doing this. And it can be for something as simple as your regular business meetings. Now, I don't really talk too much about the business meetings here on or regular socials. I'm, on this particular show, what I'm looking for is kind of like these unique events that are happening. Like, hey, we're going to this particular gun show that only comes around, once every 6 months or once a year, or we're going to the Pride Festival. That's an annual thing. Or, hey, we've got candidates that are running for office, so we're hosting an event for candidates. I'm looking for those kind of things when I'm out on the prowl, looking for what's going on in the Libertarian Party. And the reason I do that is because it's kind of expected. Like, for instance, here in Florida, it is actually state law that we host a business meeting. So I don't really get a choice. We have to host a business meeting, and there are specific rules around how that gets communicated out. So because that's kind of a given, I don't really talk about it much. I don't really want to go through and start. I mean, there's 50 states. Imagine if I said, all right, just for the state level, all all right, here's the new business meeting coming up. Like, no, that's crazy. That's their job, right? To put that information out. But for the more notable events, I definitely want to try and publicize that as much as possible because I want people to know the different and unique things that are happening in the Libertarian Party all across the US. So, again, kudos on that flyer. I recommend that everybody work together to put on flyers or put together flyers so that you can put them out and make, really great graphical presentations of what's going on. So moving on. So this one caught my attention. So let's see, let's share this and put this up on the screen here. So this comes from the Libertarian Party of North Dakota. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit so we can see this. All right, yeah, that's a little bit better. All right, help us gain ballot access in 2024. Bring that up just a little bit more, I think. How about that? There we go. All right. So it looks like they are looking to raise $40,000. Now, I don't know what it takes to gain ballot access in the state of North Dakota. What I do know is that ballot access can be very challenging in a number of different states. And the reason that this is important and the reason we should always, if we can try to help out our peers in other states is some states have ballot access issues, some states do not. Here in Florida, we do not have ballot access issues. We just basically have the same standard. You got to go and collect signatures. The signatures that we have to collect are not there's not some ridiculous number. I think it's Alabama who has like some really crazy numbers that they have to try to get when they don't have ballot access or pay a whole lot of money, something like that. It's basically a racket. Maybe not in the legal sense, but it's totally a racket. But what happens is the reason it is so critical is because ballot access can affect the candidates that might want to run for city council, right? They may not be able to get on the ballot because ballot access is lost for them, or their requirements have shot up really, really high, much higher than they might normally be. So it's really important that you try to help out your states, or other states if you're in a position to do so. But it looks like the Libertarian Party of North Dakota, they have a little over half. So they've got $21,197.80 out of the $40,000 goal. Again, I don't know what the requirements are. So I assume that they need all 40,000 of it because, we're the party of principle. We wouldn't be telling lies. So they still need about $18,800. They've got 107 current supporters and they've got 30 days. So spread the word, let people know. If you're watching and you're from Nebraska, go chip in a few dollars. If you're watching from another state and your state doesn't have ballot access issues like Nebraska, did I say Nebraska? I meant North Dakota. Like North Dakota does, then if you're in a position to help out, maybe throw them a few dollars. I don't think there's any. I don't believe that there are any issues with somebody from outside of that state donating because you're donating to a political party. But maybe reach out if you want and just verify and say, hey, can you accept money from somebody from another state? But I believe it's legal. Never hurts to ask just to be on the safe side. But I wanted to point this out because you might remember a previous episode of mine where I was talking about the primaries. Let's pull this up on the screen here. As you can see, states with open primaries, and we got a whole bunch of colors here. And that's because these are states that are separated by those that have open primaries, those that have closed primaries, those that are open to unaffiliated voters, those that are partially closed, top two, and which I think is California and Washington. So California and Washington apparently have top two. There's top four, and then there's no primaries. Though different states have different rules regarding the ballot access and regarding how their primaries and elections are run. So it's very, very important to stay plugged in and keep an eye on what's going on in the different states. So if we look up here, who was that? That was South Dakota, right? Yeah, that was North Dakota. Sorry, my bad. So North Dakota, they have open primaries, and you can argue with whatever you might like regarding the different primary processes, but that's what they have over in North Dakota. And they are again attempting to gain ballot access because ballot access is very, very critical for states. And it also helps out when we run the presidential nominee, whoever that ends up being, that the delegates select next May in Washington D.C. at the Libertarian Party national convention. So, at any rate, that really is everything that I have today. You know, if you're just tuning in, I apologize that you tuned in so late, but you can always rewind and go and check out and see who's doing what in different states, get you some ideas. I've got links to every one of the, every one of the events that I showed. I've got a link so you can just click on them and peruse around. Again, the reason that I do this show is because I want to know what's going on in the Libertarian Party. I know we like to get on social media and we like to just kind of argue about things, but we really need to put a little more effort into promoting what we're doing, particularly these events where we've got candidates and where we're going and holding booths and attending, especially attending other organizations' events. We want to make sure that people know that the Libertarian Party is alive and well. We're very active. There are a lot of people across the United States who are putting in a tremendous amount of work. That work needs to be promoted from the hilltops down to flatland Florida here, the swamps, right? It just everybody needs to know because I think we get a little disheartened every now and then, from all the infighting. And so it's good to kind of look out and go, oh wow, some good things are happening in that state over there, or some good things are happening even in my own state, because sometimes we're not always aware of what's going on the other side of the state. So, folks, I hope that you enjoyed this relatively short episode. I again, Susan was not here this week because she had life events that took her away, and that is okay. We understand that. So we will have her back next Sunday. We'll be talking about more events. Be sure to catch me every Monday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern time. Like, I know it's early, but I get up early for you. We talk about politics and culture, and I try to make it an informed discussion on those topics. And then, of course, Sunday nights, 7 p.m., my co host and I, Susan Hogarth, we discuss the LP happenings. And remember, if you are a champion of liberty, your business is people and your product is liberty. I want you to have a great week. Catch you next time. And you know what? I'm out.